Over to you, Lois.
Thank you, Peter, and a warm welcome to all our customers who have created time to join us today. Let's pray so that we can start our session. Dear Lord, we thank you for your grace. We thank you for this opportunity that you've given us to be able to take our customers through how they can identify and also mitigate the risk that can be there in their businesses. We pray as a bank that you will help us to be able to support entrepreneurs and the SMEs in this country, and also to help them grow their wealth and also grow themselves. We thank you and we pray for a very great session ahead. This we pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Back to you, Peter.
Amen, amen, and thank you so much, Lois, for that prayer. A very warm welcome to all our customers again for this session. Good to see all of you, and good to see that we have joined in good time. We are talking about identifying and mitigating business risks, and we'll be identifying some of the things that would hinder us as business people to grow our businesses. And of course, we'll talk about how we're able to mitigate some of these risks. And we are glad that all of you are here. So we'll have our presenter and the main speaker of the day, head of Bank Assurance Department, Kobank, Mr. Joram Kiuna. He'll be giving us very informative insights that are very key and are very practical in our day-to-day running of our business. We'll be having 1.5 session hours, and we start. I know we started a little late, but we make sure that we maintain time. So we want to end at around 12:30 p.m. Today. So just in terms of important information, we've muted our microphones and our videos just to ensure that we don't have interruptions. And we're encouraging us to use the chat box just down there to give the comments, the feedback, the questions that you want to give, including the reactions that you want to share with us. We'll be glad to receive them and be glad to respond during the Q&A session. We also want to encourage us to enjoy this session because it's a good session. It's a session that is going to empower us to do well in our businesses. And so feel free to engage us and be happy and enjoy this session. We know there are a number of our customers who will be joining, and there are some of us who are joining for the first time. Karibuni sana. But we'll be glad just to know your name, where you're coming from, and what would be your expectation. So just to encourage us to go down there and use the chat box to share our names, where we are coming from, and what would be our expectation for the day. So we pause for a minute just to do that so that we can acknowledge your presence and what possibly you'll be looking forward to. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Frank Onjuang. I saw you joining in good time. Karibu sana. William, Shem, Asante sana, we see you. Poderito, we see you. Joshua Mutanyi, joining for the first time, welcome. Tony Boy from Kawangware, thank you so much. Expecting insights, we'll share a lot of insights as we proceed. Elizabeth Mwendwa, Karen, I'm here to learn how to partner with the bank. We'll be able to show you ways that we're able to partner with the bank and grow your business. Fatuma from Mumias, we see you. Edward Ochola, we see all of you. John Bokoton from Eldoret, and you want to learn more on gain knowledge during this webinar, we'll be sharing more. John Joker, first time attendee, thank you so much for joining, and I'm sure you'll be able to learn. Martin Gary from Donholm, we can see all of you. And one of the things I see looking forward is to get insights and learn more, and see how then this information will help you to do business. So we'll continue to chat. We continue to encourage all of us to participate in the chat box, share your questions. I'm sure we'll have a very good session after this presentation, just to address the needs and the requirements and the concerns that you have. As we progress, I want to invite our head of Bank Assurance Department, Mr. Joram Kuna, as I had introduced him, just to take us through this session, to identifying, rather show us how to identify some of the risks that we have in businesses, and then how do we mitigate them, and even how do we come as a bank to support our customers in mitigating these risks. So Joram, if you can hear me, I want to invite you in this session to give your presentation. Thank you, Joram.
Thank you very much, Peter. I'm the Kobank team, and to all our customers, existing and potential, and our colleagues who have logged in, it's a very good morning for us, and we're very happy to share with you some insights into what you can be able to do to identify, manage, and mitigate some of the business risks that you face in your operations. So allow me to go into what I would call the classification of business risks. And under this particular slide, we'll be talking about the various types of risks that exist in our business operations, starting with the strategic. And this is what you do as management, what you do as the business owner in terms of charting the way forward for your business, the milestone that you'd like to achieve, and making sure that you have the necessary resources. Again, we have what we call financial risk, and this is funding, this is the capital for you to enable you to expand your business. Again, we have operational risk, and this has to do with how you execute as a business, and whether your processes are aligned, whether you're able to meet your customer expectations, and all matters that relate to your operations, making sure that they run smoothly. Again, we have compliance risk, and this has to do with being able to meet the expectations of the various regulatory bodies, the government, and even for those who do cross-border business, being able to comply with expectations of your trading partners. Then we have reputational risk, and this has to do with how your business is perceived, taken, how your brand is taken, how your brand is positioned, and how your business generally is, whether it's aligned in the eyes of the public and your customers. And those are what I would call the main business risks. Even as we speak about this, each of the above risks requires to be handled in a specific way. So you need to dig deep. You need to be able to dissect each of these specific bundles and be able to chart a way for each one of them. And therefore, you will find businesses having annual strategic reviews just to make sure that they are able to align their strategy to the changing business environment. In terms of financials, again, this is done quarterly. We have management accounts done monthly to be able to align ourselves and be able to know where we stand as a business. Operational-wise, this is a daily activity, and we run this on a daily basis. This is our BAU, making sure that we are open for business, we are able to do deliveries, we're able to restock, we are able to handle customer issues, and that's on a day-to-day basis. Compliance is an ongoing matter. We need to align new regulations coming into place, new requirements for our business. And this is, again, something that we have to unpack and be able to know that we are totally compliant, whether it's a KRA, whether it's CMA, whether it is importation requirements, whether it is various acts. We need to be able to comply with that. And again, finally, reputational, again, unpack that in terms of how your customers perceive your business. Is your brand against what we would call the general expectations of the customer, of the public? Are they receptive to your business? Are they receptive to your brand? And again, all these risks can be managed differently. Some of them, of course, can be transferred to third parties, and some of them actually can be packed to insurance companies. And as well, not all our business risks can actually, again, be transferred to other third parties, including insurance. And therefore, it is important for us to keep on reviewing the nature of our business risks and unpacking that to make sure that we are totally aligned. I would like now to talk to the types of business risks that we face. And this is broad, and this can actually be expanded to include many more risks that we can be able to identify. Starting with the internal risks, and this is what we face from damage to property, whether it is our business premises, the loss of key employees, either to sickness or in the event of a death, injury at the workplace, injury in the course of our commutes. We also have employee dishonesty, and this comes in terms of frauds and thefts by employees. And again, also what we'd call theft, internal theft, which is basically from the people who you have entrusted to operate with you. So those are the key internal risks, and that can also be expanded depending on the kind of business that you run. But broadly, they would fall in terms of those areas. From the external risks, we have damage, and basically this could be from natural causes, floods, fire, terrorism, or earthquake. We also have competition, where we could have our competitors coming in with better pricing, undercutting us. We could have what we also call legislative changes, and these are government policies that could, in one way or the other, impact our business negatively. If you're an importer from a neighboring country and the government stops importation, then probably that would be one of a legislative change that is negatively affecting your business. Again, they'll be changing habits from customers, and that we need to align again to that, so that we are always meeting the expectations of our customers. We need to keep on checking, are we aligned to customer expectations? What are they doing currently? How can we better be able to meet those needs? Technology is also another risk. And we've seen ourselves from the days you would queue to make calls at the phone booth to the advent of mobile phones. We've seen the changes that have been brought about by emails, as opposed to sending out letters through post. We've seen the death of the fax machine being replaced by the new gadgets, whether it's an email or your phone now being able just to take scan a copy of a document and share it immediately. So that is new technology, and we need to keep on checking how that is affecting our operations. Let me now talk about the risk management processes that are available to us to be able to, in one way or the other, mitigate the risk that we are talking about. And what we need to start by doing as business people, as business organizations, is to risk identify. We need to know what are the specific risks that my business faces. We need to be able to draw, identify, list down, define, and expound on the kind of risk that our business faces. Once we're able to do that, then we move to a qualitative analysis of those risks. And then, of course, from there, we should be able now to do a quantitative analysis in terms of scope. And before that, then once we've done all that, we can be able to move to what will be our response to those risks. Once we are able to chart that, then the total environment will now come under what we would call control and monitoring. Once you have been able to identify your risks, you have analyzed them, you have been able to plan and identify the various mechanisms within which you can be able to mitigate, then you are going into a phase that can be able to operate continuously under control and monitoring, and being able to update your plans, being able to identify new risks and be able to classify them, analyze the impact on your business, and the appropriate response required to keep your business running. And that entire system now will be running as part of your management practice under what we call risk control and monitoring processes. In assessing risks, this involves defining the potential impact. And I would like to highlight that as you look into this, you will need to be able to look at the severity based on the probability and the impact to your business. And where we are referring to severity, this would mean the probability of the risk appearing and also the impact to your business. That would help you be able to score which are the key risks and how they rate in terms of urgency and the need for you to provide for them. Severity is also known as the amount of damage or harm or hazard that could be created by that particular risk. So again, there are some risks that we can be able to absorb, and there are risks that can actually be able to damage our businesses to an extent that we are not able to operate, and that would classify as severe risks. Under the control and monitoring step, this is where we decide what to do with the specific risks and the effective monitoring steps to put in place. So again, that is a very necessary step. And all these steps are supposed to be a continuous process for them to be able to serve your business. If you stop at identifying the risk, then that will not serve you. You need to make sure that you follow the 5 steps to be able to be in charge of your risk mitigation measures and to continue operating in an environment that you're able to make sure that your business is protected and secure. So let's ask ourselves, what are the risk mitigation options that are available to us? Once we're able to identify a risk, we can either accept that risk and budget for it and be able to carry any impacts and that might arise, and that is under the risk acceptance. The other option that we have is to eliminate, withdraw, or totally become uninvolved. And that we would call risk avoidance. If you choose to transfer the risk from yourself to a third party, then that would call risk sharing. And that is also what we would refer to as insurance in the normal parlance. Again, we can also decide to optimize and reduce exposure under what we refer to as a risk reduction. So those are the options that are broadly available to us as a business in terms of mitigating the various risks. We accept the risk and we can be able to shoulder that risk because it is not harmful. It does not have the severity level to stop our operations. Avoiding the risk, which is basically putting in place also very good operational procedures, being able to either totally eliminate the risk or avoid areas that would put us at risk. Risk transfer, this is outsourcing, insuring, and risk sharing with other third parties. And of course, again, risk reduction, which is basically to make sure that whatever happens, the severity levels are managed to a level that we can be able to manage as a business or absorb as a business. So I'd like to dwell more today on the risk transfer through insurance, because this is one of the easiest and one of the cheapest ways to mitigate some of the major risks that you'll face as a business in your operations as a going concern. And in defining insurance, it is a contract between an insurer and a policyholder, where the policyholder is the business entity or you as the business owner, and where the insurer agrees to compensate the policyholder a sum of money in the event, as a specified event happens. And for this service, the policyholder will pay a relative sum of money in what we would ordinarily call premium. And that is payable for a specified term contract. So that could be either annual, quarterly, or monthly, or for a specific period of time. But mainly, you'd have to pay something for you to be able to transfer that risk to an insurer. And that is the area that I'd like to go into, and for us to exchange ideas on how this can be done and how good it can be, and what are the areas and the specific things that you can be able to do to secure and transfer the risk from your business to a third party, an insurer, for a consideration. And you're able now to run your business without a lot of challenges. So insurance is just a risk transfer mechanism. And what happens is it is where many come and shoulder the unfavorable events of the few. So uncertainties that exist regarding the occurrence of some undesirable or unfavorable events in the performance of our business, that is a business risk definition, or the probability that the future state of the business will be less successful than planned if that event was to happen. So what we do as a business, we transfer that risk, we identify that risk, and we transfer that risk to a third party. And the consideration that we'll be able to do is a periodic payment that we call a premium. And remember, we said once we transfer these risks to the third party, they could either be internal risks or external risks. That is what we pack with the third party for the consideration of a premium. And the way insurance works is that we have many people paying a small amount of money, but not all those people will end up having a claim. And therefore, the pool of funds available from the many will be used to settle the unfortunate losses that the few will suffer. And that's how insurance works in a general and high level definition. So if we go into the types of insurance available, there are two broad categories of insurances in Kenya. And this is the general arm, which deals with the non-life, and also the life insurance that deals with the personal life of an individual. So under general insurance, these are short-term or annual contracts, and they speak to personal needs and business needs. And there are various categories under general insurance and what we would ordinarily call classes of insurance. And in that broad categories, we have the likes of fire, we have the likes of motor, we have the liability classes, we have the miscellaneous classes. And as you can see from the diagram, that is the expounding of those broad categories. And the life insurance, this is a long-term contract between an individual and the insurance company. And for consideration, either monthly or annual, and in the event of either injury or death of the insured, then the life insurance company then comes on board to pay out a lump sum amount to the loved ones or to either a nominated beneficiary for them to be able to maintain a particular kind and quality of life. And of course, under life insurance, there are other triggers because the provisions for life also carry riders or extensions that include critical illness, terminal illness, temporary or permanent disability, and all these depend on the kind of contract that you take out with the insurer. So it is not only in the event of death, but we also have life covers that speak to critical illnesses like cancer. They speak to terminal illnesses like stroke. They speak to permanent disability in the event of an accident and amputations. They speak to temporary disability in the event that arising out of an accident, you are not able to do your daily chores, which give you earnings. And they speak to many other aspects, depending on the terms of the kind of insurance that you take out. So let's look at the available solutions to us, because at the personal level, we are the most critical parts of our business. We are the anchors of our business, and without us, then a lot of things could actually go wrong. And therefore, we don't only look at solutions available to us as a business, we need to start looking at what is available to us as individuals, because we are core and key to the operations of our business. And under personal insurance solutions, I would like to highlight health insurance as one of the most critical ones. because if we are not healthy, then we are not able to pay attention to our business operations. We are not able to do the management part of the business effectively. Apart from health, we have home. We have places where we reside, where our families get comfort. And if that again is disrupted, that disruption finds its way to how we manage our business. So you will not be in the right state of mind if your home and your house where your family is broken into, or has gone up in flames, or is flooded out of maybe a storm. So home insurance again comes into play to make sure that we are comfortable and in the right state of mind for us to pay the right focus to our business. Again, motor insurance on a personal level, again, we commute to work, to our business premises, to meet our customers through motor vehicles. Again, necessary, yes, because the minimum legislative requirement is that we have a third-party cover in place. But again, some of our vehicles are also expensive. And if you buy a vehicle and you lose it tomorrow, maybe through theft, for you to replace that vehicle is a huge financial outlay. And you would either have to borrow money or go into your business retained assets or earnings to get another vehicle. Again, that has an impact on your business. We also have personal accident insurance, speaking to our daily risks in terms of our commute to work. We are prone to accidents. We are prone to being mad. We are prone to accidental falls. That again can be addressed through personal accident insurances. And also, we could also go into insurances that speak to our activities for leisure and sports. And a good example here is golfers insurance. For those of us who maybe play golf, are members of various clubs, there are risks associated with our activities like golfing, either accidental injury to caddies or people who are probably just watching the game, and also the theft of our golfing equipment. That speaks to some of the things that we do as individuals. And all those things are important to us, and they make us wholesome to be able to effectively manage our businesses. And some of these risks, again, we can now move them to the insurance and transfer them for a small consideration. On the life side, we have what we call whole of life. And this is where it's among the cheapest forms of life assurance. And you pay a small premium every month, and the benefits are payable in the event that you're not there tomorrow. And you can nominate your family members as beneficiaries and the whole of life. And this is quite cheap, and you can also use it for your legacy planning purposes. What do you want to leave behind for your children? What do you have to leave behind for your wife? What do you want to leave behind for your grandchildren? Term assurance is a short term of life. Life assurance is for a defined term only, also very cheap, providing protection to you and your loved ones again. But compared to whole of life, you can define whether it's for 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. And again, within that, there are options for you to convert it to whole of life as you continue with it. Critical illness cover is also available from various providers. And this, we've seen the challenges that we face with the disease likes of cancer, strokes, kidney failure. All those are critical illnesses. and we can take specific covers that can respond to those risks in the event that they occur. And I think this is a very, very good and critical area for us to think about, because without this, you will draw down from your business earnings, and for you to be able to get the right medical responses, get the right medical procedures done, and the expensive procedures, and those bills could go very, very high. And if you're drawing down from your business revenue, then basically your business would suffer a lot, to the extent maybe you might have to close down. We have endowments policies, and this is where things like education policies fall. And these are defined term policies where you pay monthly or annually for a defined period and with defined payments. So endowments respond to specific needs. You can use them to save for a specific thing. You can use them to save for your children's education, and they keep things going in the event of you not being there, and you have a particular goal that you wanted to achieve. You can still be able to benchmark and make sure that whatever plans you had are able to be perpetuated even in your absence. And then, of course, we have annuities, and these are what you can be able to purchase for your retirement. You contribute a lump sum amount, and then in your sunset years, the payments can be distributed on a monthly basis. You're able to get a check for your subsistence until you transition. Therefore, these are all solutions available to us as individuals to mitigate some of the risks that we face. And if we're able to mitigate personal risks, then that puts us in a better place to manage our business as the key stakeholders. Again, just a point to note, when it comes to life insurance, there's no fixed value to human life, and therefore you can be able to have multiple life insurance assurances in place. You can buy a life cover every 2 years or every 5 years to adjust to your earning power, your aspirations as you go along. So some people get stuck at buying the first policy, but it was adequate maybe when they were young, but they have grown, they have children who depend on them, they have dependents, and it's necessary for you to keep on adjusting that life coverage to a level that can respond to your current living standards. So just as a continuation on the personal, sometimes we look at our life stages to determine what is it that I need to think about? What are the areas that I need to take care of? And because our insurance needs transition as we grow older. So for the young people, just starting their journey for wealth creation, early in their careers, setting their financial goals, I think key for them would be health insurance, personal accident to mitigate against accidental risks, looking at investment-linked policies to grow, save and grow their wealth, a home insurance for the usual risk in terms of burglary and their electronic goods, and of course, car insurance, because that is necessary, is a legal requirement, but also the loss of a car, some of these vehicles, most likely then you've taken a loan out of it. And also you might not have the outlay or the money readily to make huge repairs on that car without insurance. So those are the key areas that you'd expect the young and the single people to look into. As you grow older, you are a family person, then you are looking at family protection. You have more scope And this is where life assurance starts coming in. You can start with term, cheaper for a defined period as your finances stabilize. Personal accident continues to be important. Critical illness, again, because you need to be able to get the best medical care in the event of a critical illness. Again, you continue saving under investment-linked insurance, as well as health insurance for you and your family. So under this particular life stage, your priorities, protection for yourself and your spouse, as you may be going to building and paying for your mortgage loans and setting the base for building a financial security for yourself and your family. So again, as you move to the next stage where you have now children, you have to think about your children's future. You start thinking about your retirement. Then your priorities again change into providing secure financial security for your children's education and making sure that you remain healthy to see them grow and transition into adults. Again, your saving plans continue to become very, very important as they go from, say, primary school to university level education. Your term assurance again comes into play as you continue to make sure that you have a safety net in the event that something was to happen to you, and those young people need to continue going to school and having a place to stay. And of course, you have considerable acquisition and investment into your home comfort. And those again needs to be protected to make sure that in the event that your home is bungled, if there is a fire at home, if there is other risk associated with the items that you own, then the insurance can respond to that. So again, as you move to start thinking about retirement, you want to secure a regular income for your retired life. You want to have adequate medical coverage. You want to have protection for your assets. And again, we can't stop reiterating on the need for a proper health cover so that, again, you don't end up losing all the hard work that you have put in place to acquire assets. And you end up disposing them to pay hospital bills. So health insurance remains critical. And again, here we talk about pension planning and annuity covers that enable you to get regular income in your retirement age. So, and finally, as you are retired, we speak to what we would call legacy planning. And this is basically passing on your legacy to the next generation. You are now in a phase where you have created your wealth, you have invested, but you'd like to secure that and pass it on to the next generation. All your insurance policies, all your assets, if you've lived your life, a whole life, and you'd like to pass on something to your next generation. And that is where your whole life proceeds go into. That's where you either have a universal life cover, the proceeds go into that. If you have unit trust savings, then those funds would transition into your legacy planning and be ready, be available to the next generation. And in a nutshell, that is basically what we look at when we talk about need-based solutions. Let's now flip the coin and come back to business solutions. What is available to us as business people in terms of mitigating the various risks that we face when we are conducting our business? And let me start with fire insurance. This is for our business premises. And we've seen the challenges that the people who operate mainly from Gikomba, especially in Nairobi, go through every so often. There are fires, wake up in the morning and you see there was a fire from 3 a.m. in the morning, and you have a workshop or you have a hardware located in that particular location, and that can be traumatic if you have no coverage that you can be able to fall back on to be able to reinstate you to put your business back into place. Then we have liability insurance, and this is could be liability to third parties. If you run a supermarket, you have customers who come in every day and do their purchase and leave. And assuming your employees are in the continuous process of making sure that they're maintaining cleanliness at the business premises, and somebody unfortunately was to maybe sleep on a wet surface and break a hand, they would sue you for that. And this is where liability insurance comes into place, where you would have covers like public liability protecting you for any legal challenges that might come your way due to injury or damage to that party goods or property. Again, back to motor insurance again, and especially of the commercial nature. These are vehicles that we use for business. And these are vehicles either we use to deliver goods, whether in logistics, whether you are in warehousing, you have a vehicle that goes to get goods from your suppliers, you have a vehicle that goes to deliver to your customers. We need that vehicle. In the event it's not there tomorrow, it's written off in an accident, that would be a huge impact to you, and you need to move that risk to an insurance company. Group medical scheme, mainly for yourself, your fellow directors, your partners, and as well as your employees. You can imagine where you have a key employee who has been admitted to or fallen sick, but they have no way of getting proper medical care. If your employees fall sick and they cannot get proper medical care, they take longer to recover, or they might actually pass on from lack of medical attention. And that again speaks to the impact that would have on your business, because this particular employee is key to you. They may manage key accounts for you. So it is in the interest of our business to keep these guys in good health for us to continue being productive. Waiver insurance is a low requirement. If you have employees, there's an act that requires you to have what we call work injury benefits. And that speaks to any injuries that an employee may suffer in the course of executing their duties in the course of employment. So this needs to be in place. You have drivers, you have loaders, you have watchmen, you have domestic workers. All of them, by law, is a requirement that we put them under a cover called WIBA, so that we can be able to take care of any liabilities arising out of injuries or death when they are carrying out their employment duties. Theft and burglary are also risks that we face as a business. You leave your office, you leave your shop, you leave your supermarket secure and everything, and we have people who come in and forcefully break into and steal your goods and your stocks. Then that risk is something that we can be able to move and secure ourselves through what we call theft or burglary covers. Money insurance, also important because yes, we have migrated digitally, but we still handle cash. So the cash collections for the day, again, you could lose this money either through robbery at your workplace or on transit to the bank. And what I'd like to classify is that if you lock money in your office and there's a burglary in that office and the money is stolen, please note that the theft insurance cover will not pay you for the money that you lost. And that's where we were speaking about being able to identify the risk properly and applying the appropriate risk mechanisms. So if the money is stolen from your office, the theft policy or the burglary cover that you have will not be able to compensate you for the loss of the money, because money needs to be insured separately. All right. And it has its own terms, including the amount that you can keep in your office, in a locked drawer, and the levels that you need to make sure that you don't exceed, so that you're able to make sure that you have a threshold that makes sure that you bank that money in intervals and at levels that do not pose danger. Again, money policy will speak to the risk that you face when you're going to the bank. So if you are on your way to bank and you are accosted and robbed, then the money policy will respond and not your burglary policy. So it is good to be able to have those distinguishing elements so that we don't find ourselves being left exposed or buying a cover that we thought would cover us for something that is actually not covered. Fidelity guarantee, this is a cover that speaks to the conduct of our employees, and especially when they go out of the normal processes, lay down procedures, and we end up losing money. So if you have a cashier, they know they're supposed to maybe move a particular amount of money threshold to the safe, and instead of doing that, they collect the daily earnings and disappear, then that is theft by employee, and that is where fidelity guarantee comes in. So incidences of theft by employee, the cover that responds to those kind of risks is the fidelity guarantee. And that is important for us as business people, so that if we suffer loss through the fraudulent activities of our employees, then we are secure. For those who are in importation business, you are bringing goods from abroad. We have what we call marine insurance, and this protects your goods when they are on transit from the purchase locations, whether it's China or Dubai or Europe. When they're on transit, there are risks associated with bringing those goods to the country, and you can be able to insure those goods until they get to your premises. So they land at the port of Mombasa, they are transferred to either rail or road transport. Jackings happen and goods are stolen, accidents happen and the goods are damaged. You can be able to make sure that you are covered for those kind of risks, so that your business does not suffer any losses in the event of those kind of unforeseen circumstances. So what are the tips when it comes to buying insurance? Among the tips that we can be able to give you, they relate to some of what we've just been talking about. And the key one here is health insurance for yourself and your family, for critical illness and sicknesses, because this can come suddenly and when money is not available. You may not even have time to raise the funds to make sure that you receive the necessary support in good time. So that is critical. Make sure you have something that caters and speaks to the health of your family and yourself and your employees. As you take insurance again, your possessions, vehicles, business and other assets, make sure that they are insured, because those will cause you financial loss, definitely. Education for our children, going up every time. Sometimes you may not be in a position to have sufficient funds to respond to our children's requirements. Let's be able to save, put away money to make sure that our children continue with their educational journey, even if we are not there. Again, the education policy allows you to put money away in small amounts, again, and also creating an immediate safety net the moment you sign up for one. Again, let's plan for our retirement. And because of the medical advancement, then we can live longer. But as you live longer, you will need to survive. You need cash flow. And that is where pension plans, annuities, critical illness covers become best suited to respond to those kind of needs. Again, exposure to accidents, personal accidents remain a relevant part of our risk mitigation journey, and so that we can be able to have something that can respond to those kind of risks that we face on a daily basis as we leave our homes and as we go back home. So the biggest qualifier here is always use a qualified and licensed and trusted intermediary to help you tailor a suitable solution for yourself and your business. And for us here at Cooperative Bank, you can be able to access the necessary help through any of our branches and our COP consultancy and insurance agency, which has qualified personnel, trained and licensed to handle insurance solutions. And this will be based on the kind of business you transact and the kind of operating environment that you are in. The benefits that come with you taking insurance for your business, this includes, of course, the protection in the event of unexpected occurrences, minimizing financial losses, protecting your assets, being able to replace them, and of course, the credibility of your business. There are, for those who are, say, in law, practicing laws, those who are in the legal profession, the medical profession, and the requirement, say, to have professional indemnity cover, that gives credibility for your business. Your employees are your most valuable assets. If they remain healthy, they are able to give you more, they're able to remain productive, and you get more from them. Your customers, you don't want to get entangled in a situation where your customers have suffered loss out of negligence of your employees or out of accidents within your business premises, and you're not able to take care of those kind of risks. You don't want to go to court fighting your customers instead of having your insurance policy respond to the nature of those risks. Again, you don't want to be left stranded without insurance because of the risks that you could actually have transferred and catered for them through an appropriate insurance cover. And in the long run, then you save your business money because the amount of premium you pay compared to the risk that you transfer is really negligible. So you can be able to move a huge component and a severe risk from your business for a very small amount of money payable to the insurance company. Again, it just goes ahead to demonstrate that you are responsible and you take ownership of your business risks. And that basically means that you stand a very good chance of succeeding in your business. So having said that, how can you mitigate this kind of risk and what we've been talking about generally in what we'd call the Kobank Way? And we have a solution approach which we have developed over time, tried and tested. And we try to mirror this approach to what really matters to you as our customer. And what we look at is your needs, what you need to pay, the experience and the service you get, and what you perceive to be the best option. And therefore, we have these 4 categories of which we'll name them as product, price, service, and brand. And when we speak to products, our approach is to tailor make the best-in-class products to fit your specific segment and to have a product that speaks to your needs. We again underprice, negotiate, and give you value for money, and including enhanced benefits that can be able to respond appropriately to your needs. So we give you value for money through negotiations and enhanced benefits. Service is seamless. We over the counter service. If you go to the branch, you can be able to find a resource ready to respond to your queries. And these resources are well trained, knowledgeable, and they can be able to help in resolution of any complaints or requirements that you have in a speedy way. Again, being a bank which has been in operation for many years, having a large footprint of over 160 branches countrywide, then our customer service promises are able to be kept through a sustained customer engagement and this kind of education forums where we are able to give you information that can be able to help you manage your risks and tailor some solutions that can be able to make your business more competitive. We are also available online and on digital, and therefore we can be able to respond better to your needs. Let me briefly just speak to our proposition through bank assurance, and just reiterating that the products that we have will be tailor-made to meet your specific needs. We also do product bundling to go with some of the things that you do with the banking side of our business, and therefore you will find that we have insurance solutions for the MSME accounts, and that are catered for by the bank. We also have very simple and easy to understand products. So we take the jargon out, we simplify your understanding of the products that you purchase so that you can be able to have the best products from the market. The channels available to us and to you as our customers through our branches, through our business bankers, through our RMs and officers at the branches. This gives you a better sales and servicing experience. We have contact center for inquiries, and we also have our website which has product information, and also you can also log in feedback or queries from us. So you can reach us through various channels. The people who are serving you are well trained. They are trained in both products and the effective customer guidance. So they will guide you when they sit down with you. They tailor-make something, they tell you what you need, and the solutions are available. Again, we have integrated solutions that now happen at onboarding. So we are not only looking at your banking needs, we are also being able to let you know at very early stages that the risk of your business and the available solutions as you come into on board on the banking side, and we're able to run the two parallel. Our enablers, we have a very robust bank assurance system to cater for our records and our transactions. Our processes are clear. Our coordination between the various stakeholders once you come on board. So your claims management, your servicing, they're all in one coordinated step, and we work and walk hand in hand with you to make sure that your experience is seamless. Again, we have a very strong partnership with CIC Group, and therefore we're able to get exemplary terms. We're able to get very good product packages that will not be available anywhere else, including the pricing and the terms that you are able to get. Apart from that, we have over 14 very strong partners from the insurance industry, and this we have selected and vetoed and been able to analyze them to make sure that their claims and servicing ability when it comes to claims is good enough, and therefore we do that journey for you and take out the pain from the insuring and the claims process. So our key contacts, in case you would like us to come on board and be able to sit down with you, identifies your requirements and tailor-make solutions that can respond to your business needs, are as listed through the telephone numbers and the email addresses listed there. So we have bank assurance head office at kobank.co.ke and businessbanking.kobank.co.ke. Again, you can talk to your business banker, your relationship manager, or the contact center team at and the officers at our branches. If you walk in and you say you require insurance solutions, there'll be somebody at hand to be able to help you navigate the journey and to come up with the appropriate solutions. And I think as I finalize again, I think I need to mention that the bank actually works and provides premium financing when we actually are able to put together the packages and you don't have the premiums to settle for the packages. The bank can come in hand to provide insurance premium financing. So thank you very much, and I'll hand it back to Peter to take us through the next part. So, Peter.
Thank you so much, Joram, for those key insights and the information that you provided in this platform. I think this is one of the a topic that has been requested over time by our customers, and I think it is coming at the right time just to ensure that we address some of the needs that are out there with our customers. And I think even from where we sit, supporting our business customers, we have seen those that have been salvaged because of insurance, just to ensure that there is continuity, and there are those businesses that have actually collapsed simply because there was no backup plan to say that in case of a risk, how then do I proceed to the next level? So Joram, thank you. I think that was quite informative, and you provided enough information, and we said that we want to set this session simply to share insights around the risks and how then we mitigate these risks, and even how do we partner as a bank to make sure that then we support our customers and we share this information to us so that then we are well informed. I think there are a number of things that you've already talked about, the risks that are there that needs to be identified, how then the bank come in, and you've even gone ahead to say these are the benefits that we are able to get from these insurance solutions that the bank have. So we go straight to the questions, and thank you so much, our customers. Just in case you found us along the way, we set this webinar session to talk about the risks for our businesses and how we need to mitigate this, and then how we come in. So continue sharing your questions, and we have seen a number of you have communicated to us in regards to the same. We want to go straight to the Q&A session where we address the questions that have already come. So, Joram, I think there's one question here from my junior Fred Batia. He's saying, good afternoon. There are many insurance companies coming up and marketing their products and services. Maybe Joram, you want to mute first? So if I go back to that question, Junior Fred Batia is saying, good afternoon. There are many insurance companies coming up and marketing their products and services. How can I know a genuine insurance company? I'm Batia from Mombasa.
Thank you, Batia. Yes, there are quite a number of changes in the insurance industry. And what happens is that we do recommend, as I say, for you to pick a licensed intermediary who can help you navigate this journey for you. And as I said, Kobank has a partnership with about 14 or 15 selected insurance companies that have been vetted, that we review annually, and we can help you manage that particular journey. And we take away the pain of you having to know who is licensed, who is supposed to do what, who is not supposed to do what. So if you walk to any of our branches, you will be able to get the right advice and be able to be guided accordingly, depending on the kind of insurance requirements that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Joram, for that question. The other one is coming from Bernard. I'm from a Bakassi branch. Are all business risks attributed to the business owner, or some are passed to the authorities?
Thank you for that question. There are risks that the business owner will have to carry. When it comes to authorities, that would fall under compliance. And there is no insurance solution for non-compliance. So remember where we started, and we were able to classify our risks. If the risks are legislative in nature, then ours is to comply with those, is to find a mechanism to comply and keep running our business. But if the risk is arising out of what we had defined as internal and external areas, then that we can be able to allocate that to a particular solution and be able to package it and transfer it to a third party.
Thank you, Joram, for that clarification. Mutai is asking, do Kobank offer all these insurance policies just like motor vehicle policy?
Thank you, Mutai. Yes, Kobank offers all insurance solutions, both at the individual and business levels. We have a well-trained team, and we are licensed by the Insurance Regulatory Authority to be able to offer these solutions in partnership with the insurance companies that I mentioned before. And in our panel of insurance companies, we have over 15 vetted insurance companies who we work with. And therefore, we are in a position to get you a tailor-made solution for any particular kind of requirement that can have an insurance solution. And from the discussions that we've had, all you need to do is reach out to us through the contacts we have given, or go through your branch, and we'll be able to get in touch with you and offer you a suitable solution.
Thank you, John. Another one here coming from Anonymous. Please talk about professional indemnity, especially if we export services or skills. Maybe you can combine that one to another one here from Mirai and Dominic from Embu, saying, kindly explain again about more on Weber insurance and what it is.
Professional indemnity responds to liabilities that might come out of somebody carrying out their area of specialization. So if you are a doctor, if you are a lawyer, we've seen cases where you can be sued for negligence. And that is where professional indemnity covers come in. For big organizations, there is what we call officers and directors liability. Again, that could be when it comes to areas that can be attributed to a key employee or a director of a company. So those solutions are available to professionals as they carry out their duties. And it is necessary for you to review your area of operation and be able to have an appropriate solution in place in the event that you are sued and maybe there is a ruling that is against you and you are penalized. You don't have to go back to your pocket. The insurance policy will respond. When it comes to WIBA, as I said, as a registered business owner, this is a requirement by law. Say you're in logistics and you have a loader and something, he falls off from, say, a moving truck, or the load that he's trying to put onto the truck falls on his leg and he's broken a leg. The initial recourse for the loader is to find a lawyer and take you to court. And of course, the court will apportion blame and determine damages to be paid. So WIBA responds to those kind of liabilities. It also goes to give your employees a safety net, because the structure of WIBA is it pays a multiple of the annual earnings. On the extreme cases, say an employee dies in the course of duty. So it is necessary for you to have this cover in place, because without it, any litigation by your employees could adversely affect your business in terms of the quantum that you might be required to pay by the labor courts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joram. There are two more questions. One still from Junior Fred Batia, who had asked another question from Mombasa. You said the Kobank offers even motor vehicle insurance covers. Do you ask for excess fee in case of motor vehicle accidents? Number two, this is a question from Josephat from Kisi. Josephat, how does bronze account work as far as insurance is concerned? Over to you, Joram.
Thank you for those questions. Let me start with the question about Kobank offering the full bouquet of insurance products and solutions. Yes, we do. When it comes to motor vehicle insurance, if I may expound on that, there is what we would call the basic coverage. And I'm speaking in terms of what we call comprehensive insurance. So you can buy a basic cover that only responds to losses and above a particular limit. Okay, so, and that is what is called, the limit is called the excess. So if, say, your limit excess is 20,000, your insurance policy does not take up any losses which, when valued, are below 20,000 shillings. The insurance company expects you to meet the cost of repairs up to that level. Any damage above that limit, then your insurance policy will respond. But first of all, if you don't have the extension of what we call excess protection, then you will pay the excess amount, the 20,000 shillings, from your pocket. Now, the benefit of working with us comes in terms of we're able to package a cover that reviews your needs, gives you all these additional riders, and identifies that apart from the vehicle coverage, we include the excess protection. We also include the risk associated with political violence and terrorism. We also include other aspects of coverage, like breakage to your windscreen and window glass, theft of spare wheels and side mirrors. We can be able to tailor something to encompass all those risks. And we help you have a very comprehensive package that responds to your areas of concern. But of course, if you maybe work to an insurance company directly, they might give you the basic cover, which does not have those packages and those extensions. And you only come to realize at the end of the day when you have a claim that what you bought did not have an extension for excess protection, did not have an extension, say, for political violence, or what we would call courtesy car. So you can, under comprehensive, you can buy very, very varied covers. But from where we see it, we prefer to discuss with you and identify your requirements and then package that and get you that as a tailored solution. So depending on your needs, if you want a cover that has excess protection, it has political violence, and it has a courtesy car benefit, we can be able to get you that. Also, if you just want the basic cover, then we can also be able to get you that. But we'll be able to explain to you the risks and the benefits, the pros and cons for each of those covers. And that's the benefit of working with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Joram, for those answers. I think there are a lot of comments also coming. Mary is saying, good job, we have really learned a lot. Please send me the slides through the email. So we'll share the slides after this presentation. And yeah, quite a number of us are looking for this information. A junior friend has come again to say, last question, do you have insurance premiums for car hire, stroke self-drive vehicles? Thank you, junior friend, for that question. As Joram prepares to answer, we'll answer together with this question. This is coming from Janet. She's asking, how do we access insurance solutions from the bank? I think she's interested in getting the details on how to get a support person from the branch perspective. So, Joram, you can answer those two questions.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for those questions. Yes, when it comes to car hire business and the self-drive as well as chauffeur-driven vehicles, yes, we can be able to give you a solution for that with one of our partners. And of course, we can be able to get into a discussion in terms of how you operate so that we can be able to make something that works for you. That is available through one of our partners. The next question relating to support. We have bancassurance officers at some of our branches, not all, but we also have very well trained business bankers and contact customer service staff. So if you go to any of our branches, the nearest to you, and you mention that you need insurance services, they will be able to link you up with somebody who will be able to sit down with you and get something, listen to you, get something that can suit your needs. If it's something that you'd like us to pick directly, again, we have given the contacts and the email addresses through which you can reach us, and we'll be able to get back to you and be able to discuss on a suitable solution and be able to give you the necessary support that you require to get something going.
Many thanks, Joram. There are quite a number of still coming. Maybe we'll take a few as we end. There's this one. This is interesting, Joram, and we want to hear your view on the same from Bernard. Now that we are going to elections period, what advice would you give accordingly?
Thank you, Bernard, for that question. It's a pertinent question. And unfortunately, we seem as a country to run on a cycle where the electioneering period comes with a lot of uncertainties. If I, as a business owner, what I would advise you to do is make sure, one, your assets, vehicles, business premises, stocks are insured. Make sure that all those policies that you have what we call political violence and terrorism extension coverage. that clause, that extension responds to any damage or losses that might arise from specific action arising out of hooliganism, sabotage, riots and strike. That is a very, very important extension in this particular period. Please have it in place. On the personal level, I must say that you should have at least a personal accident cover in place, have your health insurance in place, updated and with appropriate risks, appropriate limits, so that in the event of you being caught up in a personal level in any of those acts that might come unexpectedly, then you have something that can be able to take care of you and your business. So that's my advice. If you have insurances that are currently in place, please review them and make sure that the political violence and terrorism clauses are included. That way, you can sleep easy. Make sure that your personal accident and your health insurance are also in place for yourself and your employees, because that is some of the areas that we might find ourselves having to worry about. So that would be my advice, and hoping that we will actually do have a sound and a safe and electioneering period. But it doesn't hurt to be prepared. Let's be prepared, but let's prepare for the worst also.
Thank you, Joram, for those comments. And I want to invite you to give the closing remarks. And before I invite you to give the highlights of what you just talked about, there's one question I want you to answer, from Abdullah Gonyo. Hello, do you provide insurance financing to enable your clients pay insurance premiums in installments?
Yes, we do. As the bank, have a product that caters for insurance premium payments, and that is the insurance premium financing. So if we say you come on board as a bank customer, you are, say, buying an asset, a truck, we are able to package a comprehensive cover for you, and as well be able to help you finance the premium payments on easy monthly installments. So that is available, and it's one of the benefits of working with us, that you do everything under one roof. You get a one-stop shop for your banking services, for your insurance services, as well as helping the help that you need to pay your premiums without hurting your cash flows. So that is available, and it's part of the package that we do offer as Cooperative Bank.
Maybe, Joram, before you make your closing remarks on what you just talked about, I think there's one customer here, Preston, saying, my take home is business insurance solution. I have learned so much on how to protect the business from any losses that may occur for both myself, my employees too. Thank you so much for this. So as we come close to the end, maybe Joram, you want to make some highlights of what you just talked about, closing remarks, as we move closer to the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And I think for me is to thank all of you for creating time to listen to us. And I think the gist of all this is to ask all of us to identify the business risks that are within our businesses, and be able to devise the strategic ways to mitigate them. We spoke specifically around risk transfer and how insurance can play a big role in helping you mitigate some of the risks that we have talked through. So you can contact your relationship and branch manager for more details and support. You can also reach us through the telephone numbers and email contacts that we have provided. And we do ask you to continuously bank and do your business with us, and keep your financing needs to us, and we should be able to walk the journey with you and manage to tailor-make solutions and help you in growing your businesses, both from financing to risk solutions. So thank you very much. Let's keep safe. Risks will always be with us, and as we speak, we know the current environment of COVID-19, which would classify from an insurance perspective as a pandemic, an act of God. Nobody could foresee this, and that is why the continuous process of risk identification and mitigation is necessary. And for you as business owner to create an environment where you are in charge and you can control and mitigate your risk as a business on a day-to-day basis. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you so much, Joram, for those comments, and even on telling us what then would we need to do. And I think one of the things that have come out very, very clearly is that we are living with risks in our own businesses, in our homes, and we have risks all over. And I think it's just now for us to say that, having gone through this session, are we able to identify some of the risks that we want to mitigate? And I think this is a very good call from Joram. Thank you. I think, Joram, you have highlighted quite a number of even benefits that comes with you engaging the bank in terms of this support. And I think as business banking department, where we support our customers even on the loans and the solutions, other solutions that we give, we also encourage you to go ahead and think of business protection and even going through these risks, and we'll be able to support you. And we have even said that we have solutions that you're able to pay in installments in terms of insurance premium financing. So we will continue to support you, and we encourage you that let's continue to partner to grow business. Let's continue to share all the needs that we have with our business bankers and our branch managers across our network, because we are well facilitated to support you, just to ensure that your businesses continue. So we want to take this opportunity to really thank all of you for joining this webinar, joining in good time. I think we had a very good session, and I think quite a number of insights that have come through. We'll be able to share more details, maybe through the emails that you also logged through. We also want to take this opportunity to really thank Joram, our head of bank assurance department in the bank, really supporting our customers and going out of way to ensure that these businesses continue, even having gone through these challenges and hiccups that we go through in our daily lives. So asanteni sana, our customers. Thank you so much, Joram. We continue to support you, and we continue to have these sessions in the future. Please just ensure that we log in, and we continue to give you all this information. Asanteni sana. We wish you all the best, and may God bless the work of your hands. Asanteni sana, and goodbye, all of you.